As a Nigerian living in Germany, the social interactions from day to day sometimes can be really normal and other times it can feel super awkward. These are 5 German social interactions that I have found awkward. It is a standard practice here in Germany to tip waiters 5 to 10% of your bill, or just round off the money to a decent amount, to come up to a decent amount for the waiter. Now, even though this tip is not a must, it is expected, and it's just be awkward if you don't do that. You just be considered cheap, like this person is super cheap. So when you go to a restaurant, you tip the waiters. It is a way to show appreciation for their good service. So usually some people, if they feel very impressed by the service, they would probably tip more. If you're just rich, you can just tip more, but generally it's 5 to 10% of your bill. Back home in Nigeria, where I come from, that's not the case. I would only tip a waiter if I'm feeling really generous, or if the person is rich. If I'm rich, I can say, okay, keep the change, that kind of a thing. But nobody expects you to tip the waiter. It's not normal practice for us, So those who leave change for the waiter, or who leave change for someone who provides any service for you, it is just the person feeling generous. It's not as if it is something that is expected. And usually it is done by rich people. So if a rich person comes to a shop or somewhere to eat or to buy something and all, you will feel like this person has money, you will leave the change is not plenty, and all of that, but it's not something that is socially somewhat of a standard. So if you're not used to tipping when you are in Germany, please remember to do so. Saying hello and choose when you enter or leave a room, it has become something that I find. Why? Because now, for example, if you go to a doctor's office, so in the waiting room, for example, you can be in the room and then someone comes in and the person says hello to everyone and everyone says hello back. And then there's this awkward silence that just goes on in the room. No one is talking to anyone, but the moment someone comes in, the person says hello, everyone responds. And when someone is leaving, the person says choose, everyone says choose, and then we go back to our silent mood. Like for me, it is awkward. Germans are not good with small talks. So usually if they meet in these kind of places, they don't have small talks, small conversations. What's up? How are you doing? And all. But if you go to a waiting room, for example, in the doctor's appointment, or you go to a gym, the sauna or something, once someone comes in, the person says hello and everyone says hello. And once the person is leaving, the person says choose and everyone says choose. And that is the only interaction that they have in that space. Back home, that cannot be the case. If someone says hello and everyone says hello, the gist will continue like that. And I think it's really wonderful, because you can be in the bus, for example, and meet total strangers, and you guys can just have really fantastic conversation. It's a normal thing. It's a very normal thing for us back home in Nigeria to have conversations with anybody and everybody, generally. It doesn't mean every single person does this, but generally, we do a lot of small talks, and people don't just go into a room full of strangers that they don't know and say hello to everybody. No, people don't do that, except if they know so many people who are there, and then they can just say hello to the group of people who they already know. So that's some awkward social interaction for me here in Germany. Remember, when you enter a space like this, if you are new in Germany, to say hello when you go in and say choose when you're leaving. Next thing, when paying in cash at a cashier point, here in Germany, you can find some small plates at the cashier desk where you can drop the money and the cashier then picks up the money from there to whatever, give you your change or whatever. That cannot happen back in my country. That would be considered rude. The first time I noticed that, I was like, why? Like, you just drop the money there and then the person picks it up. I think that's rude, or at least based on my cultural upbringing, that's a rude thing to do. You can't just drop money for someone. It feels like you see the person as less than you or something, that you just drop the money and the person picks it. But if you're paying with your card, usually you will just do the contactless thing, and just pay with your card. You don't have to exchange anything by hand and all of that. So for me, that's very awkward, but, different places, different strokes, different folks. all of that. Now, in the same circle of dropping stuff for someone on a plate or whatever, back home, you cannot give someone something with your left hand. It's considered rude, it's considered very disrespectful to give someone something with your left hand. So even if something is coming this way and you want to pass it, usually you would pass it with your right hand. You know, it is disrespectful to pass stuff with your left hand. In fact, some people say that it's cursed, you know, to pass stuff with your left hand. But here I find that people do that, you know, depending on where and how the stuff comes into their hands and moves to you. People give you stuff with their left hand. It doesn't matter. I don't consider it a big deal. Even from back home, it has never been a big thing for me to worry about which hand is being used to give me something. But growing up, it was a big deal for everyone around us. So if you give someone something with your left hand, it's considered really rude. But here, that's not the case. The next thing is personal space. So Germans are super big on personal space. I don't understand the obsession with personal space. People would rather stand on a bus than sit next to someone on the bus. Like, not everyone, of course, but a lot of people would rather stand than sit next to someone. So you can see a bus that is almost half empty, but you still see some people are standing because there are spaces between people. People don't want to sit next to someone else, you know. So they really protect their personal space. And it is very interesting considering that Germans are really big on nudity. So if you are in Germany for the first time and you see someone who would give you a lot of space and just be on their own, you know, don't feel uncomfortable. It's just normal thing for people generally to want to just have, you know, their personal space around them. I too have started learning to, you know, observe that personal space thing. So if I'm even walking on the road now and someone is too close to me, I'm almost unconsciously just giving the person like an extra space, you know. It is now getting into my system. It is not Nigerian. Because if you're in the bus, if you're in a Modware bus, you cannot be forming personal space. No, you can't do that because even the conductor will do it like this. The conductor will put you in his armpit itself, you know, as part of the space in the bus. It can be really uncomfortable. But for us back home, personal space is not so much of a big thing per se. You can be packed like sardines. But here, personal space is a big thing. People like to have their space around them. If you're in Germany, please pay attention to that. Now, when I listen to music, I love to sing along with my music. And this is something I've always done. When I'm listening to music, I sing along with it. But here, I've noticed that sometimes when I try to sing along with my music, people just look at you like why? Like, why are you singing along with the music? You know, a lot of times, people rather just enjoy the music and not sing along with the music. You know, it almost feels like, allow us enjoy this music. Why are you messing it up with your rubbish voice? You know, and all of that. No, except you are in the club, of course. If you're in the club, yeah, people can jump and make noise and sing along and all. But generally, so let's say you're in a public space or you're in the office or something and you're listening to music, people don't appreciate it if you are singing along with the music. So bear this in mind. If you're in Germany, it will be good for you that you listen to your music peacefully by yourself. Don't go singing aloud and disturbing everybody with your music. If everyone is listening to it or not, it doesn't matter. So, are there other awkward social interactions that you have observed, either here in Germany or if you have visited any place outside of your hometown and you feel that these are awkward social interactions that are different from what you are used to? I'd like to see that in the comment section. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so that you're notified when new video drops. I appreciate you for being here with me and I'll see you next week. Bye.